keep telling the man, I see the green lights coming on by the two buttons. Yes, good night, good night. Good night, St. Martin. Welcome to your favorite online internet radio program, www.SXMTalk.com, where you get live and serious discussion. Of course, I'm your host, Christopher Emmanuel. We was a bit of a panic mode a while ago because we keep pressing all sort of buttons and the mics and nothing seemed to be coming on. However, I'm here tonight. Yes, I had a few days off. You wouldn't believe I have a funny thing going on. I had a terrible toothache. It only seems to bother me at night. And yesterday was really, really out of the way. And there's a number of graduations going on all over the place. So I've been to a few of them as to the reason why I couldn't attend or be here on some of the programs. But we are here tonight. So call a friend, call someone, tell them log on to their favorite program, www.SXMTalk.com. And of course, we're supposed to have a guest tomorrow. They call, I hope, and they confirmed we'll be talking about Emancipation Day and a fun event they'll be having coming up at Emilia Wilson. So it's good that people are eager and liking to come on the program. Well, of course, my topic tonight is Minister Pantophlet. It's the same kind of talk. But let me say good night to everyone listening all over the place. Those in Holland, my peoples in Holland, England, France, United States. Good night to everyone. Miss Illage, how are you doing? You were sad when I couldn't be on the other time, but I'm here tonight. So let's get right into the program. You know, there's a terrible thing that I realize going on here in St. Martin, and like I said, if I can beat up on one part of the government all the time when we were in opposition, it's only fair and well that I beat up on government when they do the same thing. Whether we are in government or not, opposition or not, is a matter of maintaining the program and being as fair as possible. Now and again, you can throw your jabs and your political rhetoric and getting into all sorts of who's right and who's wrong and things that you see going on. But if there's a blatant abuse of the people's heart and how the people feel, it should be pointed out. And I read the newspapers today and I listened to the Minister of Economic Affairs and Tourism, Minister Romeo Pantophlet. And interestingly enough, he made a point of talking about the Causeway. And this is the thing that really, really makes me upset. It gets me angry. And people would say, Christopher, you can't say this because they're your coalition partners. So you mustn't say it. But even if you see your son or your daughter or family member doing something wrong, what does that mean? You still shouldn't say anything? And that's one of the issues that I have a problem with. What am I talking about? I'm talking about our infamous, famous Causeway Bridge, Causeway, whatever to come. Now, here we have a project that the government of St. Martin took out a bond of $150 million to refinance the loan at the harbor and also to build a bridge at the tune of $45 million, reclaiming land in the lagoon, taking land and giving people deed for water. I mean, the whole thing just sounds and smells like a rat, like a stinking, dirty rat. You know, and when the now National Alliance Boys Independent was in opposition, anything that they mentioned about the Causeway was, it is wrong. And the kind of money they're spending. And look what they're doing. The people of Simpsonbay sent them a message. They walked out from the town hall meeting. It is wrong and these things shouldn't be. They shouldn't carry on. You shouldn't have this and you shouldn't do that. Everything was, you shouldn't. You can't. It is wrong. Now that they're in office, everybody would have assumed that the Causeway Bridge would have been the thing that they would have been attacking. and it would have been put on hold. What do you hear? What do you get? Oh, we got to try and check, see the contracts, and see what kind of damage you're going to do to the country. And, you know, the worst sort of excuses that they just give. But it's times like this I just have to say, St. Martin people, it's good for you. It's good for you because we continue to accept this kind of rubbish, these kind of crazy excuses. And remember I said on our program, whenever they want St. Martin people to accept something, whenever they want us to agree with their point, what do? There's one word that they just mention, they just straight in every sentence. Local. They just stress on the word local. Okay? All of a sudden, we have all kind of local whatever. If it was an issue to go to Mars and they had to build a spaceship for $200 million plus billion, and the people say it wrong, you know what they would say? Yeah, but our local astronauts are the ones who are going to fly the ship. If they had to go to the depths of the ocean and it was costing billions of dollars, you know what they would say? Our local divers, our local submarine operators. If we had to build a bridge, which we're going to build, but I'm trying to find the most impossible thing. Okay? We invested in a tunnel. They'll say, our local engineers. We got Siamese twins born on St. Martin, and we need to bring in a specialized machine that can cost $1 billion. They're going to say, yeah, but our local brain surgeons and our local this. So, whenever they want us to feel sympathetic or to understand their reasoning behind it, or for us to go along, they will always use the word local. So, the last time when the now out minister Franklin Myers talking about what he did and what he did, what he said, whenever a local trying this and whenever a local doing that, we are always trying to bring down the local. And I think it's time we stop this kind of crap. There's no other way to put it. There's no other way to say it. It's crap. My friend Apple like to hear me use the word dribble juice. But are you dribbling on your own juice? It is utter nonsense. So what is the, here, this is what the minister says now. And I don't have the newspaper here with me. The minister says, the Causeway going to create a lot of jobs for local contractors. And they're going to bring the unemployment down. Local contractors are going to get jobs. And when you continue to read the article go on to say, but they haven't spoken to the developer as yet, whatever they name NV. So I'm saying to myself, but how does it work? How does it work? You take all the money and you give it to a developer, and then you go back to the developer and say, you got to give the locals job. Or you negotiate that the locals get a dig in, and then you say, for that, this is what you're going to get. So you haven't spoken to the developers as yet. You haven't sat down and had talks with them to include the locals this and locals that, but you're talking about locals going to get jobs. It's going to bring, how do you know that? And you see, anytime we have a minister that looks at a short-term plan in terms of creating jobs, then that minister need to go. Because we all know the 2 years of whatever that bridge is going to take to build, it is not sustainable. The jobs are not sustainable. So when the 2 years are finished and the bridge are complete, what happened to those jobs? Unemployment wouldn't go back up. You as a minister of economic affairs, you're supposed to have a plan for long term. And you see, then if that is the case, that it's going to create jobs for locals. Let me ask you this question, Minister Pantophlet. Let me ask you one question. Why the hell or the heck did we want to remove Minister Tia Heiliger for then? What's the reason? What's the reason for getting them out? Because the people felt that they were out of touch with the reality of what was going on in this country. There was arrogance in their behavior, in their stance. They felt they could have do what they want, say what they want to people, how they want. Okay? This bridge wasn't the thing that people wanted. Things just wasn't kosher. It just wasn't right. And Minister Pantophlet, you are continuing the same trend. You're following the same line. You're doing the same thing. And I don't get it. I don't get it. Don't you guys understand that the people of St. Martin don't want it? Then throw a poll out. There was a town hall meeting in Simpsonbay and the people said no. They walked out. But now you're talking about going to create jobs for local contractors. What kind of jobs? How many underwater sea diving welders do we have? What kind of jobs really is it going to create? And this is what I talk about all the time. Don't just come and say it's going to create jobs. Explain the kind of jobs that will be available for local people. What are those jobs for local contractors, as you mentioned? What are they? I don't get it, understand how just a couple of months ago, everything about this causeway was wrong. It was bad. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't be. It's going to cost us. And you know what the funny thing about it? Everybody was saying they're going to charge to use it. So wait a minute. They use the people money to build it, and then you're still going to charge the people to use it. I don't get it. So I'm trying to remember the score I gave the minister the last time when I was grading the ministers. And this have a lot to do also to the Minister of Infrastructure, the Deputy Prime Minister. I think it was a shaky 7 or a shaky 6 that I give. Those numbers heading south. You're breaking ground for this project. I saw you in your hard hat with shovel and all. You're digging in the ground and breaking ground for this. When are we going to get a government that focuses on the social aspect of this country? The social development in this country. When are we going to get a government that focuses on things like health care? Health care. What is going on with Telem? What is going on with the fuel clause and stuff down at GEBE? When are we going to get a government that understands that people are suffering in this country because the social welfare is not up to par, is at ground zero? I mean, how hard, what is it going to take for you guys to understand that things are not right? You know, I want to say something here also away from this point. I'm guilty of it to myself, and it is something that I really need to talk about, right? And I got to talk to my young people about this, drinking and driving, not wearing your seatbelts. And I see people doing it still in this day and age. I still see adults, grown people driving with their babies in their lap. And with that being said, we here at St. Martin Talk is sending out our condolences to Mr. Quinish on the and his family on the loss of his only child. She got in a fatal accident on the front side at Agremont. She flew through the windshield, through the car window, and she died. And it's a terrible thing. It's a horrible thing for parents to bury their children. And I don't even want to elaborate a bit more about it, but, you know, I don't know the gentleman that well. We just know him from the Chamber of Commerce and stuff like that. But listening to the story, you could feel it. And it's a matter of having compassion, and it really, really hurts. So, you know, we need to look at the things that our young people do. The reckless way that we live. You see? And our seatbelt. Because one could argue all sort of things. We can say whatever we want to say. If this and if that. The reality is, it already happened, and she's never coming back. But like I said, I myself, I'm guilty of it. Not wearing my seatbelt at times. You know what is so funny? I would see to it that I strap in my both daughters and have them properly strapped in and bolt down and stuff, and then I would start the car and I'm driving myself without a seatbelt. Anyway, our condolences going out to the family and friends of Mr. Ludwig Winish on the loss of your child. Getting back to our point of discussion though, people are saying that we are satisfied or we were happy in terms of the prices of gasoline and cooking gas. And I understand, I truly do understand that things take time. It's a work in progress. Okay? But if you're on a momentum and you're moving, you shouldn't halt your progress. And this is the reason why I'm taking off my hat and I'm saying thumbs up to two ministers right now. They are leading the pack way ahead. That's the Minister of Education, Sports, Youth Affairs, the Honorable Minister Sylvia Jacobs, and the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Minister Roland Tuitt. These guys, he wrote taxa and explaining to them what is going on and holding back the money, and he's way ahead. These guys are working. They're working. Next elections is 2014, you know, and there's a lot of things going on this island. Tell him is a, you know, you don't even know what to say right about Tell him because you don't even understand it. I've been calling now for weeks for them to come and hook back up the cable, the internet cable, and I don't understand. And my thing is this. We have members of parliament hearing the rumors, what is going on, what is happening in Tell him come look in the news. People talking about restructuring and they want to be lean and mean and getting rid of workers and all sort of stuff like that. And no one is calling for inquiry. No one is calling for answers. What is going on at this company? You see? But what is even more sad is that you got a lot of Tell him employees and a lot of Tell him workers, they themselves are afraid and scared to talk. And I don't get it, understand. Maho, police, immigration, Coast Guard. This island is heading for a labor unrest, a workers unrest. This country is heading for it. And I'm saying to our members, our government, open all your eyes and see the things, what is going on in this country. Open all your eyes and see what is going on in this country. People are getting frustrated. They're getting upset. And I'm very much disappointed with the minister because we want answers on this causeway. What we need to know. The people have a right to know what is going on with the causeway down at Simpsonbay. Is government looking into the project in terms of stopping it? Or is it a go ahead? What are the answers? What is happening? What is going on? What is happening with the ring road? We don't expect you to have all the answers and one time solve all the problems, but neither do we expect you to continue the same trend like the past government, like the former government. We don't expect that either. Tomorrow should be very interesting in Parliament. They looking to replace the President of Parliament, the chair lady, Gracita Ironell. And you know, the papers today said that she tendered her resignation and different stuff like that. She made her position available as of the 1st of September. So we have July, August, 2 months. She wants to stay on as President of Parliament. And she would tender her resignation as of the 1st of August. My thing, no. No. You should go home and go back to your benches as a member of Parliament. No. I ain't making no qualms about it. No. And here's where let's talk about our political maturity. You don't have the support of the majority in Parliament anymore. Resign now. Resign now. People are saying, yeah, you know, and everybody are being sympathetic now. I'm not being sympathetic whatsoever. You see, because we just behave and do as if it belongs to us. Our chests are up in the air, and you know, and these are the things that's happened. And they say that God don't like ugly. All right? I listened to a few members of Parliament today. I don't even want to comment on it. I don't even want to comment on the things that was going on, but tomorrow is going to be very interesting. To tell you the truth, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. I'll tell you this though. My sneaking suspicions, I don't think they'll be able to muster a majority. Why am I saying that? I know that Member of Parliament Leroy De Weaver is off island. I know Member of Parliament Patrick Illage is not feeling too well. I know Member of Parliament Judge Pantophlet is off island. And if you take it from that premise only, out of the 10, that's already 3. That is, well, we know for sure 2 is not going to be there. That's for sure. That's Member of Parliament Leroy De Weaver, Member of Parliament Judge Pantophlet. That is 2 out of the 10 coalition members. So that leaves with 8, which is a one-man majority, a slim majority. And then we are hearing that Patrick Illage is not feeling well. So that leaves 7, and you don't have a majority. So how are those votes going to go? How are those votes going to fall? Member of Parliament Fran Richardson was off island, and also Member of Parliament Dr. Lloyd Richardson, but they're supposed to be back today. So my thing is, I don't think they're going to have a majority. That's just my thing. And by not having a majority, then I would say that the President of Parliament, the chair lady, would most likely be staying on until the 1st of September. And people are saying, yeah, well, it's just 2 months. Yeah, well, for me, it's 2 months too long. It's 2 months. She had to resign since a month ago. Since the ministers resigned, she should have resigned also. That's my take on it. But let's see how it's going to go down tomorrow. I know for sure we may just have a very packed tribune to really find out, hear what's going on. But I think it's going to be very interesting and also historic, because when you look at it, our first government didn't even last over 2 years or more. Probably 2 years it is. You see, so to me, it's going to be historic. But whilst that is going on in Parliament, people out in the street are wondering what is going on because there's a lot of laying off happening. But I'm going to say this and I'm going to continue saying this though, right? To everyone out there who's feeling a pinch, who know a friend or a family member that is being laid off, or a friend of a friend that is being sent home with a package, whether they are being sent home from Maho, whether they're being sent home from Telem, whether they have been sent home from Pelican, you know, what is going on at the post office. These things are issues that has to do with labor. And if it has to do with labor, I mean, the Minister of Labor is responsible for that portfolio. But let me say this though, because I'm sort of going to whisper it like it's a secret because I think it needs to be understood correctly. If you want result, make yourself heard. Power conceives nothing without a demand. Make yourself heard. Why is it that we are scared to protest or march in this country? I don't get it, understand why. Even if you have to march against your own government who you don't support, go ahead. Fine. Make it happen. But the only way leaders, politicians, members of parliament going to understand how you feel is by you letting them know, making your voice heard. But you know what has happened? You see what has happened? This has been the way when everybody turned into beggars wrong election time and everybody wants something. Everybody wants. You see? This is what has happened. So for 4 years now, you got to suck that salt. It's hotting it on. Because we don't want to learn. We don't want to change our way. Everybody just wants something. I want a permit. I want something somebody want. And this is what has happened. So now nobody have the balls, nobody has the fortitude to stand up, to strike, to protest. They don't have it. And what you have to do now is accept what you get. I read a little joke that says, put the government on minimum wage and you'll see how much work will get done. They have you guys on minimum wage. You know, when you look around the country, you're shaking your head because you're saying to yourself, but what is going on? What is happening? Who are there? Who are, you know, like for example, the ombudsman. How long the institution of the ombudsman has been established on the island? How long? I'm still, and what do we hear? Oh, they sent a report to the ombudsman about the cockfighting. I'm like, cockfighting? I'm coming to that cockfighting issue, you know. Because I spoke about it already, but I'm going to talk about it again. But I mean, the ombudsman sent a report to get information about cockfighting. Cockfighting? Leave the cocks them fight, man. It's a big deal. But what does that institution do? How many complaints do you have on your table from people? How many investigations have you done? What's the report do you have on your successes, on your cases, on your initiatives? What is going on with the ombudsman? What's happening? And these are the things that I mean, the country itself It's like a maze. You know, when you're going through a maze, you can't navigate yourself through. It's hard for you to understand what is going on. I myself don't, I'm supposed to be in a position to get answers easy. And I myself seem to be lost at times. I don't get it. I don't understand things. I seriously don't get it. Like I said, I'm disappointed in the stance and the talks from the minister. But you know what? I'll say this though, right? I believe 99%. So I leave that 1% open that it may not happen. But I believe 99% that the Causeway going to go ahead. It's going to go along. It's going to become a reality. And I'm leaving that 1% for the people of St. Martin to stand up and say that they don't want it. And as long as I don't even see a protest letter or something, I'm not going to talk about the Causeway anymore. Because if we don't want to say nothing about it, and if we don't want to do nothing about it, then we accept it. Then it's all fine and well with us. I talked to you guys and I told you guys that deeds for property have already been issued and there's only water. So everything is done, set up already for certain individuals who are going to benefit from it. So now Port-au-Prince is going to have access to their property on that side of the water. So what's going to happen? More condos and villas are going to come on that end. So they're going to have a view of the airport and the lagoon and the water and different things like that. Businesses are going to come along because that's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah. You know? And it is sad because we have children, and what are they going to inherit from this country? What is left for them? Nothing much. There's a plan coming for Mother's Day. Remember I said it here on the program, There's a plan coming for Mother's Day, where they're going to take away the access to the beach, the road. And I don't want to hear, oh, they can't do it. They can't do it. Why not? Who's going to stop them? We sure ain't going to do nothing. We surely don't want to stop them. Because we are so consumed about what's in it for me. Me. I. That's all we are concerned about. Again, we just talk about the kind of people and investors that come to this country. And it speaks volumes to the kind of government that we had in the past. You see what's happening at Aquarius? You read what the papers and the judge said? It was a Ponzi scheme. It seemed as if to be a pyramid scheme, a Ponzi scheme. The Texan billionaire, 2020 cricket, Antigua businessman, Stanford. How much years he got? 150 years in prison for his Ponzi scheme. And we got him coming here to St. Martin. Our government allowing them to come here. And look at Aquarius down at Red Pond. Look at it. It got to be in the papers. This is what they do to our country. They label us, they blacklist us when these sort of things happen. And our government allow it to happen because we continue to make deals with crooked investors, with corrupt people. So when you read the article and you read the paper, again you want to say the Irato family again. Again, the same people again. St. Martin is my country. And this is the reason why we're going to never get good people coming here to invest. St. Martin, come 2014, if we continue to make the same decisions, these same things and continue to happen to us. We're going to have a program tomorrow. I believe some guests is coming on. We're going to be talking about Emancipation Day. I don't like when I get emotional. I don't like when I start to flare up. Because it hurts to see that your country is disappearing right in front of your eyes, and your people accept it. We accept this. I'm going to be back here tomorrow talking about Emancipation Day. I'm going to leave you guys now because there's a project and all coming for Emilia Wilson. We have the former Minister of Education that signed on to it, and culture, and signed on to that. I mean, and Monday we are supposed to be meeting at Emilia Wilson for a nice historic celebration and this and that. And they're going to develop that area also. They signed the permits. And here's where us get vexed with Pride Foundation and stuff. We just pick and choose what we want to do. So Martin, people, take care of yourself. God bless each and every one of you. Good night.